All right, we're live. Um, I'm late. I'm not normally late. I'm like 90 seconds late. Um, I was eating my lunch and I dropped food on my jumper and I was like, oh, will I be able to see this? But you actually can't. The camera just cuts it off. Exactly. So
Good.
right below the camera line, food. Um, how are you?
I'm good.
Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, I had just spent some time with my family and recovered. So it's been very nice. And you?
It was fine. Yeah, it was nice. Very nice. Fine doesn't adequately cover it. It was very nice. Um, is New Year's a big thing in Norway?
I think it's bigger in like other countries, but it's of course you celebrate and you spend some time with your loved ones and maybe partying. Some does. I didn't. But yeah,
Do you ever drink?
not that often. Like
Not that
I
often.
did celebrate when I qualified for the games and after the World Championship, but yeah,
Yeah.
not in the daily life. No.
Qualified for the games. I went on a 6 week bender, and then um this was your first year at the games, 2022. Well, last year was your first year at the games.
Yeah.
Um, as an individual, but you were there. You were there on a team before. Is that right?
No, I qualified in 2020, but the
Okay.
team
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't. It was cancelled because of COVID. So
Okay.
yeah, never been there, never watched either. So it was the first time in Madison.
And how long had you been doing CrossFit before that 2020 qualification?
I did my first CrossFit session in like 2016. But then I only tried for some months when I lived in Australia and I moved back home to Norway and didn't do any CrossFit for like half a year. And maybe
Hmm.
then 2017, I started training CrossFit for real or like
Yeah.
as a hobby, but still every day. Like it was fun.
And what were you in Australia for? What were you doing in Australia?
I took some studies before
Okay.
I went back home to take a physiotherapist degree.
So did you move to Australia on your own?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And what age were you then?
19, I think.
Okay. And did you know anyone over there? Like were you moving over to like family or friends or anything or just totally on your own?
No, but it was like a Norwegian school
Okay.
in Australia. So, and I did move with one of my friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um was that so is that like trying to think. I don't know if this is a global term, like Erasmus, you know, where you go abroad for a year and then come back, or were you over there for longer than that?
Just half a year,
Okay. And you
actually.
just like kind of almost like a student exchange, like you went to
Yeah,
and then
kind of.
yeah.
Or it was like a personal trainer um, study for 1 year. So you did one half of the year at home online and the other half in Australia. And then I started to study to become a physiotherapist. That was like another study in Norway. So
Okay. So the course was being run in it was like run by an Australian company or like whatever
yeah,
university or
so
whatever.
the theory was in Norwegian and the all the CrossFit and your training was at a gym in Australia or a CrossFit gym.
And what made you pick that course? Why? Because surely there's like closer to home options available than Australia. Was it just the opportunity to travel?
Yeah, I just wanted to travel, but still I wanted to have something to do, not only travel, because back then I actually enjoyed studying. And I always wanted to travel over to Australia and try to live there. It just seemed like a nice country. So
Yeah. When do Norwegians take down their Christmas decorations? It's very full on behind you. I'm just wondering what's the
yeah,
cutoff.
not yet, as you can see.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Is it like the sixth?
yeah, I think probably like my family usually does it like now when the weekend comes. I think like
Yeah,
you have the first day after New Year's Eve, it's busy because you're going back to work. My family is on, yeah, they just started working.
yeah,
So they wanted to wait until the weekend till they have a lot of time and can do it like just
yeah.
not have to stress with it. And it's still cozy to have some of it. But but you also feel like, okay, now I want to start my 2023
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just get back to routines, and then maybe you should take it down.
I feel like when the decorations are up, it's like a license to be lazy. Like it's like you can
Yeah,
just Christmas tree is up. I'll just sit on the couch for a while.
yeah,
Um, are those Christmas curtains?
yes.
Wow, that is all out decoration.
Yeah, I was like, I did another podcast like 2 3 days ago, and then I was somewhere else in the house, and there was like a star and the Christmas tree, and I was like, okay, I need to find somewhere else now. And it's like it's just Christmas vibes
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh,
So still,
that was with Scott. That was
yeah,
Clydesdale. Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that. I
Like
watched that back,
I
and
need
I
to
was
make
like,
a change now, but still, it's
yeah,
Christmas.
you're gonna like the more popular you become, the more you're gonna run out of spaces you're just gonna run out of corners in your house
Yeah,
to face into.
gonna just be called the Christmas podcast girl or something.
Is this your house, your parents' house?
My parents' house. I'm still back home in northern Norway, so I'm
Okay,
traveling to Oslo, where I live. It's pretty far away.
yeah.
On Friday.
And does you is who have you got siblings?
Yes, I do.
And what ages are they?
My big brother is 30, and I
Okay.
have some step siblings. Is it called that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's 5 girls. So
Wow.
we were a pretty small family, and suddenly we became a pretty big one. But
Yeah, wow.
it's really nice. Some of them are still home, and some of them has traveled back to their towns. So
And are they younger than you?
uh, half of them are younger. One,
Right.
yeah, different.
I, I'm trying to ascertain who gets to open I still see the advent calendar behind you. I'm trying to figure out, do you just take it in turns, or does the youngest just do everything and the rest of you just watch?
This was actually no this was when I was in Mexico. So it's my younger step siblings that
Oh,
got
so
the.
you just missed everything. You just came
I
home
missed
to
everything. I just came home and this was done.
you just came home and put your gold medal in the #1 slot.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Just rub
kind
it
of.
on their face.
But
Um,
some present under the Christmas tree for me then.
and how far away are you from Oslo? How is it a train journey or a flight, or how do you get there?
Actually, 2 flights.
Wow.
So if I could take a train, but that's like 14 hours or something.
Yeah, forget that.
So I'm not doing that. So I'm traveling with the airplane. Yeah.
And do you own a gym? Do you own an affiliate?
Yes, and that's
Where is
like in the middle of my town and Oslo. So that's like
okay.
just in the middle.
And so do you like run that from a distance then? Like, are you based is Oslo home then during like apart from Christmas, obviously?
Yeah, I moved to Oslo last year, so that's my home now. But I've lived in Trondheim, where my CrossFit affiliate is, for 5 years.
Okay.
And the plan wasn't to move actually, but then suddenly I wanted to go all in with the CrossFit, and had the chance to maybe qualify for the games and compete in the high level. So it was better in Oslo, other athletes, better coaches. So I don't run the gym now. I'm just a CEO owner, and there's another woman who runs the gym.
How long did you own it for before you made that decision?
2 years.
And what was it like, just like handing over to someone else? Like, is that a difficult thing to do?
Yeah, absolutely. In the beginning, I was traveling more back and forth. But yeah, it was like it's always been a big dream to run an affiliate or to open a CrossFit box. And I think the dream was maybe to do it after I was done with my own career, but
Yeah.
then suddenly the opportunity was just there, so we did it. And then the other dream was to be a full-time athlete and qualify for the games. So it was like, okay, I'm giving up one dream because I'm chasing another.
Hmm.
So it was hard. It was, but at the same time, I think it would have been hard to qualify and focus on my own training while I'm running a gym. Like
Yeah.
I also did train at my gym, and if people wanted to ask me a question or needed to buy something, like in the middle of my workout, it was hard. Like, okay, should I be an athlete now or a gym owner now? So it's much better for me to train at CrossFit also, where I'm only athletes.
And you said there that that it became, I guess that you realized there was an opportunity to qualify for the games, or that there was a possibility to qualify for the game. What made you think that, or what, did someone say something? Was it just your own, like, did you have like a competitive experience that you were like, oh shit, I could actually do it?
Yeah, I was actually, when I started CrossFit, I was like, okay, I'm done doing sports like professional, because I did do some soccer and handball in younger age. So I just wanted to find some training that I enjoyed. But then I did, like, someone else actually like just signed me up for some team competition and like convinced me, and I was like, no, I'm not competing. And so when I started, I was not like, I know some other athletes, they're like, I just saw the documentary on Netflix, and I was like, I'm gonna be there one day, and they just went to a CrossFit gym. For me, it wasn't like that. So it was more like just every year, every half a year, every competition, I realized that, okay, I might maybe become a bit good in this. And the people around me was like, you can be really good, you have potential. And then I qualified with the team and got the opportunity to be on a team. And then I was like, okay, why not? Why not try to actually go all in? Because I love this. I want to train every day. I love doing CrossFit, and I've always been an athlete in my head, I think, from younger age. So yeah, and then I did work and do CrossFit at the same time for many years and study. And then in the semifinals last year in 2020, I just missed out. I qualified for the last chance and just missed out for a games ticket again. And then I realized that maybe, I think all the other girls I was competing against, they actually did CrossFit almost full time, and I was like working my ass off with other things and so I felt like I have to choose. I don't want to be in this same position again where I just miss out, and then I need to take some other things away from my life, like stress and recover more.
Because you were with the program up until you moved to Oslo, is that right? You were with John, and you were like, were you living in Mallorca, or just travel, just like training camps, kind of?
Training camps, but then before semifinals, I was living there for 3 months before the semifinal.
This year?
Last year.
Like 2022 or the previous?
2021.
Okay,
yeah,
right, okay.
now it's a new year.
Yeah, I am sorry. I'm also not back to work yet, so I'm still in that dead time of like, what day is it?
So when I just missed out, I was in Mallorca, and I enjoyed being there. But when I lived in Toronto, I didn't have any opportunity to have a coach with me every day, or there were no other athletes or anything. So when I moved to Oslo, it was just natural to switch around, because now I have a coach who trains with me every day, and other athletes, they're not the program, but yeah.
And was there any temptation to move to Mallorca, like to stick with what was familiar, or was it like, is Norway where you wanted to be, and then Oslo is like, because Oslo is like kind of the center of, it looks like it's becoming the center of like European CrossFit, but it's definitely the center of like Norwegian CrossFit.
Yeah, it is.
So was it kind of a no-brainer, like moving there? Well, like CrossFit Oslo, you've got like whatever 2 teams that have been to the games recently. You've got Kristen there, you've got Andrea trains there a lot, doesn't she? And like, was it just like a no-brainer?
No, it was like, okay, I have to do something. I have to train with someone. I have to have a bigger team around me. And then I was like, okay, am I going for Oslo or Mallorca? But at the same time that I did this decision, I injured my knee, or re-injury. So I needed a surgery. And I did the surgery in Oslo and also had my physiotherapist in Oslo. So I kind of had to go there for some months. And back then I didn't have any I still had the program ish, but because I had the surgery, I got some help from the national team coach, because we have a national team in functional fitness in Norway. And then just during those months, I realized that this is a good team, and Oslo is a good city for me to be in. And I didn't know how my knee would handle going back to CrossFit, so it felt kind of risky to go to another country, because in Norway I had insurance, I had the
Mm.
people who did the surgery, my physio, and so it was just, back then I actually couldn't choose it. So I was more like, okay, I'm going for Oslo, and let's see if that's 1 year or 2 years. Maybe I'm moving somewhere else. I always wanted to go back to like a warmer country to actually live in. So it's still something I can think about. But right now, I really enjoy training in Oslo with the athletes over there, and my coach and my mental coach, and yeah.
Mm.
So
What's it,
we'll
what's it like? Is it a fine balance? Say when you were in Mallorca, you had like Gabby was there, and I think Laura visited a couple of times, and then like say now you've got Andrea's there in Oslo, and like is it a fine balance between like being friends, and like training partners with athletes, and also being like, no, fuck you, I want to qualify. Like, like standing on top of people's heads to get into the spot. Like, is there a period of the season where you just go like the shutters come down and you're just like, we are now like not training together and we are now doing different things?
Yeah, I think you need to find a balance there, and I think it's important to be in a healthy training community if you want to train together with other athletes, because it can be an unhealthy environment also. So in Norway, it's amazing. We are like best friends and competitors, so we are so happy for each other, and I think we feel more like it's us against the other Europeans, or us against the world, instead of us against each other.
Mm,
So, but of course, you have to like, you can't, you have to just do your best, and you can't think about the others when you're actually competing, because everyone wants to be best. But I think we kind of understand that also. Like, yeah, it's we have a good thing in Norway at CrossFit
mm,
Oslo, so it doesn't feel like we are enemies. But I
yeah.
think we're not training together every day, because I think it's hard mentally to compete every day at training. If I have a bad night of sleep, or
Mm,
just a bad day shape, like then maybe I should just do my conditioning alone and don't have to push that hard, being another heart rate zone. Or like if I was going to compete or train with the other athletes every day, I think it would have been hard. So we just kind of push each other, even if we're not training the same, and sometimes we do a workout together,
mm.
to get some kind of competition experience or just inspiration. Yeah.
What happened to your knee that you needed surgery? Was it just like a progressive problem, or was there an impact injury? Or
In 2020, just after we qualified as a team, I actually fell on cross country skiing in the Easter holiday back home here.
yeah.
That was just really clumsy. And then I injured my some ligaments and my meniscus, and some muscle tear. So I did rehab for 1 year, uh, until the semifinals last year, and then I was pretty good. But I started a bit too early, and then just in the bottom of a squat clean, it just ripped up and my meniscus teared. So then I needed a surgery. So it was like a re-injury after 1 year of rehab.
So I was going to ask, were you disappointed? Like, were you relieved then, like selfishly, when the games for teams in 2020 was called off? Were you like, because there must have been a period of time where you were like, oh shit, like, no, I'm out. Like, I'm obviously not going to be able to do it. That I'm letting the team down. We can't. And then they were like, oh, and the games are cancelled for teams. Or you're like, oh, thank God.
It was actually a mix. I think some part of me felt like, especially in the beginning, it was like, fuck, it's canceled because I'm going to be well again
Mm,
in the summer. I was thinking just, okay, this is only 1 month or 2 months, and I will
mm,
be fine. And then I realized my knee is not fine, and we still don't know if it's going to be the games for teams. So I was like, when it got cancelled, I was kind of like, oh, I really wanted my teammates to go, but also it would have, like, to be honest, it would have sucked being at home just watching the team division and not being there. But of course, I wish that my team could go because they deserved it. But at another side, I was like, if it didn't get cancelled, I was prepared to just take some
injections and go.
Yeah, just risk it because it just felt so big to qualify for the first time, and maybe sooner than I was even imagining. So I think I would probably have done that because I wasn't a smart athlete back then. I think I'm a bit smarter now, but still, you know, the athlete. I'm a physiotherapist, and I have like one athlete here and one physio. So if they are fighting, the athlete always wins. That's why I need a physio and a coach, I think, because you really want it so bad. So I would probably have been there, I guess, just having pain and just get the experience and then handling the problem after the games.
I saw you talk about Kristen as your mental coach and like helping you mentally with preparation, and like what does that involve? Like, is it just her competition experience and her like just the amount of hours under her belt that she's like, if it's happened in CrossFit, she's seen it and done it and knows how to prepare for it? Is it that side of things, or is it like, is it more than just say competitive CrossFit that she has you with?
It's more, she, of course, she has an amazing experience, but she has also studying some mental training stuff, and I think she actually does it now as well, some more things. So she's been helping me with a lot of different things, and I think before I had the injury, when I started CrossFit, everything was just going straight forward. Like, it was just progression, and in every competition I was better and better, and I never had the downs, only the ups. But after you reach a level, I think it's more normally to actually have ups and downs. And when I needed a surgery and didn't qualify, just missed out in both the semifinals and the last chance, I was like, okay, do I actually want to do this thing? Like, it sucks. It did back then. So when I started working with Kristen, she really helped me through those kind of thoughts and things. And when I did go all in as a full-time athlete for this season, she's been helping me a lot with just competition experience, game plans, mindset. Yeah.
And how many coaches are there? Is Simon, am I saying his name right? Because I know it's spelled Simen. Yeah. So is he your coach?
He's my coach, yeah.
And does he have other coaches working with him, or is it all him? As in like overall him, you know what I mean?
For me, it's only him.
And is there other coaches in, like, so is he coaching the teams and Andrea and everyone, or is there a team of coaches?
There's a team of coaches at CrossFit Oslo. So last year, Simon had me and some other athletes who reached to the semifinals and the quarterfinals. And he did coach the team together with Joachim, who's Christian Holt's, or was Christian Holt's coach, Joachim Rigg. He has a lot of athletes, Andrea and Head, and a lot of the other guys in some teams. And there's another group of coaches as well, but it's basically Simon and Joachim that has the high level athletes.
What is it that he brings to you, do you think, that like what sets him apart from other coaches in your mind, of like, oh, this is like, because if you were on the bubble for a while and then you burst through and like you're there now and hopefully you'll stay there, but like, what is it? Is it just your own maturation and like your, you know, again, time under your belt and experience and like your own progression? Or do you think that him as a coach, do you think that he's helping bring out things in you that you might have struggled to bring out otherwise?
Yeah, I think the biggest change for me was to actually have a coach with me every day in training. So I think which kind of training program you have isn't like what matters the most, maybe. Because I did have a lot of progression with the program as well, but I did train a lot on my own. And when I moved to Oslo and had Simon with me every day, it was just the small things like not the repetitions in like a legless rope climb or handstand push-ups, but more like, okay, what can I do at that one rep to make that one rep easier? Like, should I pull differently, more aggressively? Like he could just watch me every day in training to see how I moved, my movement pattern, and also he's not only having a good experience with coaching, he's also really good at building back up after injuries, and he has an education. So it was really helpful that he could collaborate with my physiotherapist when I had the surgery. So for me, it was perfect back then, and it's still just a really good team. He knows me really well and can help me with some mental stuff together with Kristin and the coaching part, and just to get like to fix food for me during competitions. And yeah, we're a good match. So yeah.
Was it last 2021 semi-finals? You said you went back and your knee just wasn't ready. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So some months after the semifinals,
You needed surgery then.
Yeah, I was actually like squat cleaning 100 kilos again, and then just in the bottom of the clean, it's just popped.
Okay, so then, did you do any competitions? Like, was semi-finals your first in-person competition after semi-finals the previous year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was. And then.
And what was your mindset going? Because I'm just curious, like if you do semi-finals, and you're almost there, and then it turns out you went back too soon, you injure yourself in what sounds like a kind of painful and like very unpleasant way to injure yourself at the bottom of a squat clean, and then your next competition back is semi-finals, and you're in front of a crowd, and you're going to have to do thrusters and whatever else. Like, I've heard people talk about like in that kind of injury as being like when your partner cheats on you, and then afterwards it's like, oh, can I actually trust them again? Like, it's always even if you're not thinking about it, it's in the back of your head. Like, did you have to address that kind of before you went in? Like, did you just build up confidence in your off season to think like, okay, I can do anything on this knee now, it's fine? Or were you like, oh shit, like what if something happens now, or what? Like, did you hold anything back, do you feel?
Yeah, it's just like you said, if like your partner cheats on you, it was really hard for me to trust the knee again. I think it was actually worse before I actually had the surgery, because I knew it was good enough to do the open, to do the quarterfinals, do the semifinals. But I also, in the quarterfinals in 2021, there was like 180 pistols or something, and I knew my knee wasn't ready for that, but I had to kind of do it. So I think I was more afraid then, because I knew the problem wasn't fixed. It was just better. Like I knew I still had the rupture in my meniscus, but it was pretty okay. I could do most things again. And after the semis, when I was actually pretty well in my knee, then I finally managed to trust it again, and that was when I had a re-injury in the bottom of a clean. So it was more like mentally, like I was looking forward to. I actually did squat cleans again, and I was like, wow, I can do squat cleans again. And then it happened. So I think when it happened for the second time, it was really hard to trust the knee, and I actually think it's a bit hard still. But after this season, after a lot of off-season competitions and pretty much all the movements you can have for a bad knee, that like for a good test, I feel like I can really trust the knee again, and I'm ready to work a lot on my weaknesses, which is leg strength, of course. So I feel like my knee can handle a lot of squatting volume, and that's really nice.
And do you like say at Rogue then? Are you like when there's a workout? Do you just say like, okay, fuck it, hopefully it's fine, and you just go for it, or are you like, oh, maybe I should lean a little bit to the, like, do you try and protect it when it's the games or when it's Rogue and it's going to be intense and it's going to be a long competition? Do you try and protect it earlier on? Do you try and like compensate somehow, or do you just convince yourself that it's going to be fine, and then if something happens to go wrong, I'll just deal with that then, but I can't hedge my bets because it will cost me too much?
Both, actually. I think at the games when I first did pistols after the surgery, almost, I think I did them really slow, so slow that I didn't make the cut in the sprint event. And I did like the pegboard and broken, the single unders, and I'm really good at handstand walk ramping. So it was just the pistol just ruined everything. And I think after that, I was like, okay, why the fuck should I be this careful? I should just go for it, because my knee did handle the pistols, but I did them so slow.
Yeah.
So now I'm more like, just go for it, and it'll probably be fine.
Yeah. It's yeah, because does it frustrate you then? Obviously, I suppose when you're at the event, you're not aware of commentary or anything. And I, off the top of my head, can't remember anything that was said. But like, say when you're in that moment and you're going slowly through pistol squats and you're in front of a huge crowd and the announcer is, or the MCs are like commentating on what's happening, and Sean and Chase are commentating on what's happening for the people at home and stuff. Are you like, are you wishing you could give an explanation? Like, are you like, oh God, people must think I'm moving so slowly? It's like, I had surgery, or are you just so focused on what you're doing that you're not even aware that there's people watching?
um, just like during the event, I'm so focused, so I don't notice what they are saying. But of course, like after the event, I was like, oh, I was so careful. Please know that. But I'm not really good at pistols, so I probably would have been. I wouldn't have been so much faster. But yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Um, like there was a commentary early on that you're awesome, and I kind of have to agree. Like looking at your off season, um, I remember I spoke to John Singleton a while ago, and he said I was asking him about off-season competitions and like what's the balance like, and he was saying like with younger athletes you kind of the experience is good, and like it's good to get experience under your belt, but he was like three tends to be the like 2 or 3 is like the magic number for the top level athletes to do, say maybe Madrid, Dubai, Wadapalooza, or Rogue, Wadapalooza, or any combination of those really. um you did like basically everything that was that was everything that was going. So I heard you talking on Scott's podcast on Clydesdale, and you were saying that September alone you had like world or nationals, which was a qualification for worlds. That's the IF3, and then you had the Madrid, and then you had the qualifiers for Rogue, all at the same time. You qualified for worlds, you qualified for Rogue. You podiumed, you came first on the team in Madrid. So
yeah.
September was obviously quite successful, and that's about a month after the games, your first appearance at the games. So it's quite an intense period of time. And then you went to Dubai. That went pretty good. That was pretty successful visit. Then you went to Mexico with Worlds, again, pretty successful. Everything turned out pretty good there. How did you, like, when you're sitting down at, say, after the games, you finish in Madison? Do you sit down with Simon and say, okay, I want to do this, or is he like, I want you to do this, or like, how do you approach uh like the balance of getting experience and like worthwhile experience? Like, these are good experiences because you're gaining an understanding of what it's like to be in the lead and to hold on to it and to chase a lead, and also at Rogue to deal with like disappointment in some events and to deal with events that aren't going to be in your wheelhouse. So like they're all valuable experiences, but I'm just curious, how do you set out your calendar at the start? Like, do you just throw darts and you're like, yeah, let's do everything? Or like, how do you decide what to do and what not to do?
Uh, I feel like I was super pumped after the games. I was just so motivated. And I wanted to train so hard. I wanted to compete everywhere. I wanted to experience so much. So I was like, Simon, I want to do everything. And he was like, no, 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 you can't. And if I look back now, it was a bad idea. It was, but at the same time, I'm happy I got the experience, and it's been a quite crazy year. So when we looked into the calendar, I wasn't prepared to do everything. I was kind of Rogue was not like, okay, I'm not going, because I did a qualifier, but I actually placed sixth, so I didn't qualify straight away.
Mm.
And then I was like, okay, we're just doing the Dubai qualifier, so it fits pretty good, because then I can have an off season now from September to December,
Yeah.
and just focus on my strength, and get some competition experience in, like, I kind of have 2 off seasons. So one off season from September to December, then have some competitions like the Dubai, the Worlds, and I was supposed to go to Miami, and then
Okay.
have a new off season during the Open, and then get in shape for the semifinals. That was the plan. But then suddenly I got an invite for Rogue, and I was kind of I had just started my off season. And then I was like, okay, no, I wasn't supposed to go there. but
But you can't. It's not easy to turn it down either. Like when
no, I was it was my rookie season,
Yeah.
and when you get an invite for Rogue, it's the biggest thing you can achieve after the games.
Yeah.
So it was a really, I felt that I couldn't say no, and everyone around me was like, you can't say no, you can't not go to Texas when you get an invite from Rogue.
What is it that I'm just interested there? You say that's the biggest call you can get after the games. What is it about it? Do you think is it like like do you feel that from sitting at home and watching it and like admiring what's happening? Do you feel that from talking to other athletes and hearing about their experiences, or is it just because it's like Rogue and they're like outside of CrossFit, they are CrossFit, like they're the the lead equipment, and they're the glossy kind of shiny magpie diamond that everyone wants?
I think it's all those things together, and it's only 20 people, 20 athletes, so it's maybe top 20 in the world.
Hmm.
Almost, like, some people are saying no, of course, but it's almost a harder competition than the games,
Hmm.
and it's also the prize money makes the competition one of the biggest, and just the reputation about how they arranging competitions, how they handle the athletes.
The boots and the cowboy hats. You can say it. You wanted boots and cowboy hats.
The baseball bat. Yeah. No, I think, like, watching from home, both the games, regionals, and Rogue. That's been the competitions I have been watching before I started to competing myself. So it just felt big to get the opportunity to go there.
Hmm.
And then I also already kind of decided going to Dubai. So it just happened. But yeah,
And you did Zalos as well, didn't you?
yeah.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you were supposed, because Bruce is asking here, were you were supposed to be going to Wada? Was that on a team or individual?
Of course, both.
Why not?
Why not?
7,
No,
8, yeah.
stupid question. No, I'm just kidding. But I was supposed to go there, yeah. But I realized after, or actually before Dubai, that it's already been too much, and
Mm,
I was close to actually withdraw from Dubai and the Worlds, because I did hit the wall kind of a bit.
mm,
It was a little bit too much, and especially after Rogue, I struggled with jet lag for quite a while. So I just had to choose, like, okay, now the tickets are ordered for Dubai and Mexico, and I'm tired, but I'm still performing pretty okay. So let's just go for it and just decide to relax during Christmas, have a long Christmas holidays from like with my family, recover, and then decide to just skip Miami and focus on the next season. So I think that was I think I just stopped in time to actually
Yeah.
be able to recover and not hit the wall for real. So I'm actually not back into training yet. So I've been waiting. I'm gonna wait like 1 or 2 weeks more.
Are you doing anything?
Yeah, some like just some like 1 hour a day maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it must be like even just mentally it'd be difficult to just do nothing when
Yeah,
you just be
I do
getting
some like some
itchy feet.
easy things. Yeah, just moving.
So you podiumed at Madrid, first in Madrid with the team, and then podiumed in Dubai, and then gold medal at Worlds.
Yeah.
So you say you hit the wall, but I mean you came out with 2 medals after you burst through the wall, you still got 2 medals. Because it's funny like listening to you talking about it, where it essentially sounds like you kind of you had a fear of FOMO, like that you were afraid of, like, oh god, if I don't go to Dubai, what if it's a really good, like, or what if I don't get this chance again? Because I know like that's what a lot of us like spectators feel, is like, god, I wish I was in Dubai, or oh man, it'd be so good to go to Miami. So it's funny hearing an athlete also being like, I want to do everything because I just want to go everywhere and like not miss out. But it's funny as well, like, because I spoke to James Newbury the other day, and he was like, he was all in, like CrossFit was everything, and he kind of just got to a point where he just started, like, experiences and memories just became more important to him. So he's going to Wadapalooza like for fun because it's like, fuck it, I'm getting to go to Miami. And he's going to, he went to Torian because he qualified, and he was just like, yeah, whatever. Like he had done like 5 CrossFit classes between the open and semi-finals, like, but it's there is an element of that when you're an athlete. You don't know when it's going to stop, I guess. Like, you don't know what, like, especially when you've gone through an injury that you mightn't have been able to recover from, where, the sensible thing to do might be to say, okay, I'll do Dubai and nothing else. But
Yeah.
like the human thing to do is to say, well, this could be my last year. You never know like what's going to happen, or it could be the last time I might never qualify for the games again. I might never qualify for Rogue again. It's hard to balance out, like, saying no to things to preserve your career, and saying yes to things to kind of, when the sun is shining, you have to enjoy it. Like, you can't just be, you don't want to quit and then be like, oh fuck it, I should have done more competitions when I had the chance.
No, yeah, that's a perfect description of how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, a nice reflection. So I think, especially after the injury, I felt like I should just. Now I got the opportunity, I got the body. Yes, maybe if I do everything, it will affect my performance, but maybe not. And yes, I should focus on the 2023 season to qualify for the games again. But what if I don't qualify and I didn't go to Dubai or the Worlds because all eyes were on the games? And maybe I don't even get the chance to try to qualify because it's one weekend of semifinals. Maybe I got COVID that weekend. Like, you never know. So. And I think maybe especially the first years when you're a rookie and everything feels kind of really big. I had to withdraw from Dubai in 2019 on a team because one of my teammates were injured, and that just, I was already in Dubai, so it sucked just being a spectator. And now, like, okay, should I say no to Dubai? Like, remember back when in 2019 how much I really wanted to be out on that competition floor, and now I got the chance. So I'm really happy I have experienced everything, but also I have experienced that it's a bit too much. So I'm ready. If I want to compete in like 6 more years, I have to choose, because I can't do this in like every year.
Yeah, I think you get one of those years, I think.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
maybe
2, maybe your first year and your last year, and then in between
yeah,
you make sensible choices. But
yeah,
there, like, Danielle Brandon was on Savannah's podcast yesterday. She said she was pulling out. of, I think it's Taylor and Andrea, but I actually think Sydney Michelasian is on that team. But I'm sure you still have got about a week. You could book your flights. I'm sure they take you when you hang up the call. You'll be like, oh, maybe he's right. Maybe I should book flights. But yeah, no, I think it is. Jesus, just a phenomenal off season. Like I was scrolling through your Instagram and it was just like medal, podium, medal. Like it was just like so consistent with the IF3. So I'm not that familiar with it. I know like how it works. As in, I know that you qualify through like to represent Norway, and then you go to Worlds and you represent Norway at Worlds. But is it kind of like the Olympics? Is it kind of like Formula One where there's like a team, but there's like say individuals working for themselves, and then their like scores count towards the overall team? Or are you on a team while competing? Do you know what I mean? Is it like a team of 2, team of 3, or whatever, or is it like Matilda on her own?
It's both. So it's one individual. You can compete as an individual or a team.
Okay.
Like I did compete individual for Norway in the individual division, kind of. And there's also one team division where every country can send one team, which is 4 athletes. So the same as it, like as the games and the semifinals.
Two guys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you compete as an individual, you can't go team as well. So you have to choose.
Okay.
Or like the federation have to choose who they want to send.
What's the cutoff for choosing that? Like, is it
we
like the games where you have to let them know by whatever quarterfinals that you're going individual or whatever?
No, so you get 5 spots, and you don't actually have to do the qualification. Like if last year I was injured, or I just had a surgery when it was the nationals. But then if the national team coach wants me to go to the Worlds and he thinks I'm better than someone else who did the nationals, but I couldn't compete because I was injured, he can choose me.
It's a bit of a shit one for whoever qualified.
Yeah, but then there's only like 3 spots to qualify, for example.
Yeah.
Like if you know that already back then.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think each country has their own kind of how they choose which athletes they are going, but we have a national championship first, and at least 3 of them will qualify, and the 2 other spots would be chosen by either if someone is ill or injured or something else, or from top 5. So you're not guaranteed to qualify for the Worlds if you get top 5. You just have a really good chance. It depends if some of the best athletes wasn't able to compete that weekend.
And how similar is it to, say, I heard you say that Worlds is probably at the level of maybe semi-finals in CrossFit, like spectator-wise, I assume you're talking about, or like attention-wise, I guess, like spotlight, I guess.
Yeah.
With the workouts, like how similar is it? Like, is it essentially CrossFit without calling? Is it like CrossFit but not CrossFit, basically?
Yeah, basically. But it's you always have 6 different tests, so it's always 6 tests, and the first one is endurance, the second one is strength, and you have one bodyweight skill. You have a mix workout, which is basically just CrossFit. You do everything, and you have a bodyweight, endurance, and a power. But power would be pretty different, like now same as a CrossFit sprint, kind of echo bike, sandbag rings, heavy thrusters, something like that. A short workout. So I feel like the workouts in the Worlds are pretty similar to, it could have been just a normal CrossFit competition, but you also know in front of the competition, you know the tests, and you know that it's 6 tests, which
how far out do you know what the workouts are going to be?
I think it's like 14 days before.
Okay. So like, do you know the endurance one, say, it's probably going to be somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes or whatever?
Yeah.
And then like a few weeks out, it's 5K row, like 10K bike or something.
Yeah. So this year was swimming and running, and yeah.
And then the 14 day, I mean, that's the only one you'd really need to test would be the mixed one then, probably, because like bodyweight endurance is just like, I mean, I assume that's like air squats, burpees over something like that kind of thing.
This year it was actually ring muscle up, handstand walk, burpee box jumps, and pistols.
Okay.
So it could have
On
just
paper, I was like, that's probably the workout I could do, and then you said ring muscle ups. I was like, oh, I'm fucked.
yeah. So it could have been a event at the games as well.
Yeah.
But if it's body weight endurance, they can't just take some assault bike in or
Yeah, a heavy barbell or
like have
something.
a barbell or something. It's only using your own body weight, but it can still be pretty high skill. Ring muscle ups and pistols are not high skill anymore in a high level competition. So
And does it work then that so you as the individual, are your scores combined with the team's scores, and then that means Norway move up the leaderboard? Is that how it works? Or is there two separate divisions, for one for team and one for individual?
two separate. So I just have the same scoring system as at the games. So like
Okay.
100 for first place, 96 or whatever is for second, and I'm just competing. I'm competing for Norway, but only for myself. So
Yeah.
the other girls from Norway who also was individual it was kind of my competitors, just
Yeah.
the same as it in games or semifinals. But we just want everyone to do good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get any shit from IF3 for doing CrossFit, or from CrossFit for doing IF3? Not even the organizations, but like fellow competitors, or does anyone ever say like, oh, you shouldn't be doing CrossFit, you should focus on this, or oh, you shouldn't be doing IF3, you should focus on CrossFit?
No, actually not. I think maybe more like if the functional fitness affects the games, then people are okay. You should focus on CrossFit because
Yeah.
it's still so much bigger. But no shit from anyone.
Yeah. Do you think, like, do you see, because IF3 has been around a while, but do you see it growing? Like, do you see it, say, in your day to day? Are more people aware of it now than 2 or 3 years ago, do you think? Even just say locally, like in Norway.
In Norway, I think, and I think that's because we have managed to grow the sport and the federation pretty good in Norway. But I think if the IF3 should grow like internationally, I think some other countries have to manage the same thing that we have done in Norway. And I think it's not too many games at least that actually go to the Worlds. And I know, like, I really enjoy the competition and everything, but I should have gone to Miami instead of Mexico, just because of the prize money, the experience, the competitors, the level of the competition. But it's such a big thing in Norway, so we do it for our own country, kind of. And we have the team, we have training camps, we have a good team around us with physios and insurance if we get injured, and we have to actually go there and represent our country to still have that. Yeah.
And are you like landing back in Oslo? You know when you see Olympians coming home and there's like people meeting them at the airport. Is it at that level, or is it just like you're walking back into your gym to a round of applause?
It's not that big. Or when I landed in my home country, my hometown in Mosjøen, where I'm now, my family and just a lot of people I knew was there. We were waving flags and stuff, but that was more like because they're my family,
Because you hadn't been home in a while. What's the prize like? How does it compare? Say the Worlds is like, they want that to be at the level of the CrossFit Games, I guess. How does the prize money compare? Is it like way off, or is it like, are they?
Yeah, it's way off. It's almost like nothing. I actually don't know how much it was this year. I don't think we got to know before the competition either. So Dubai was much bigger, like prize money wise for me.
And is it those like competitions like Dubai? And I know you were announced as a Hustle-Made athlete, say the before semifinals, I think. Is that like, is that a big relief? Like, say when they decide to support you and want to work with you, and then when you do podium at Wodapalooza, and I know the prize money was less and you also have to share it with 3 other people, but like at Madrid, when you get that sort of income coming in, and you like, because it's so unpredictable, I guess, like where you could go to Dubai and come away with not even paying for your flights, or you
Yeah.
could like, you know, lose a sponsor, like a company could go out of business, or a company could decide, oh, we're not in CrossFit anymore or whatever. So it's quite unpredictable. So is it, we talked about making hay when the sun is shining. Is that kind of the attitude with, obviously you want to work with, I assume, sponsors who like resonate with your beliefs and your, you know, what you use and that kind of stuff, but you also do need a steady stream of income if you want to do this like all in consistently year on year.
Yeah. So I think I was actually after HustleMade decided to support me that I could actually be a full-time athlete, and
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been where I am today without them, because it has helped me a lot to grow as an athlete and to be able to work less and just recover more, because I've always been training hard, but it was more like everything around training that was important for me to change. So like you can't do it without sponsors, and I think sponsor makes it a bit more predictable, like because you never know if you can compete, or if you, yeah, as you said, you can go to Dubai and get the podium spot and actually earn some money, or you can come back and not even cover your flights. So I think that's mentally stressful if you're going to live as a full-time athlete just of the prize money. The sponsor, it's a bit more predictable at least.
Mm.
So I think a good mix there should be, that's the best. Or like if the prize money can only be a big bonus, that's probably the absolute best, to not stress about the economy during the athlete everyday kind of
Mm.
life. Yeah.
Um, so 2023, then you've got an actual off season now.
Yeah.
You're going to be sitting on the couch with FOMO watching
Miami.
everyone take on Wadapalooza. You have open, quarterfinals, and semifinals in Berlin, hopefully, and then the games last year in Madison, hopefully. Um, has your approach to this season changed compared to last season? Just with the fact that there's one semi-final, with the fact that, you know, like I just, because I've heard an awful lot of people talk about the fact that, say, in 2 years' time, the performance in the Open, the quarters and semifinals this year will matter for, you know, spots for Europe and stuff. And I'm just like, do you give a shit about that? Like, are you kind of like, I actually don't care. Like, I need to qualify, and that's all that really matters. I'm not gonna change how I approach the Open just to make a possibility that we might have another spot in a few years' time, or like what like will your approach to this season change based on the fact that the system has tweaked a little bit?
Like I think you have to think a bit about it, but at the same time, if I want to do better at the games, I can't focus on the Open. I need
Yeah.
to get strong, and I've actually the last couple of years I haven't focused on the Open anything at all. But I'm still like, Open is really good for me. It's um, pretty light weights and a lot of repetitions. So I've always done pretty good at the Open, even though I'm in the middle of an off-season period. So I would probably not focus too much on the Open, but maybe a bit more on the quarterfinals, like still do my off-season training, but just do maybe a couple more conditioning sessions and some, yeah, um, before. But I think you can't focus too much about it. For me, it's the most important thing is to qualify. And since I qualified for the games last year, so I don't want to only qualify for the games this year. I
Mm.
want to do better. Like I want to do good, and then I can't focus on the Open and then the quarterfinals and then the semifinals, and then I'm probably pretty tired when the games are. So yeah, a good balance, but the semifinals and the games are like highest in mind. So the rest just has to be as it is.
Did you enjoy being at the games? Because I know a lot of people go to the games and um they enjoy like the, ooh, look, there's that thing I've seen on TV, or there's that, you know, whatever, or, oh, this is nice, look at all this free stuff I'm getting, or look at my layout of all my like clothes or whatever that I've gotten. but then afterwards they might be like, oh, I should have pushed a bit harder, or I should have tried hard in that workout and I was enjoying it too much, or I was kind of just happy to be there and not necessarily giving my best. Like when you walked away, were you like, that was my absolute best that I gave, or were you hungry to get back to, give a more complete representation of yourself, do you think?
Um, I think I wished I did enjoy it a bit more, like that I didn't have that high expectations for myself the first year, and maybe like just I didn't realize before after the games, like because I really felt that I needed more competition experience. That's why I also did go to all the off-season competitions, because like it was COVID, I did team, and I realized like after the games I felt there were so many small things I could have done better, or like just small things I maybe would have done better if I had some more competition experience individually, just like how you talk to your judge, what do you do when you get a no rep, like what should I ask for, how should I warm up, like so I really felt like I really want to go back and do better. And yeah, I felt like I didn't reach my, or like manage to prove my potential. And it was also the first time I competed outside of Europe. So just competing when it's the middle of the night in Norway, that was something else with the jet lag. And so I like just the day after the games, I was like, why is it over? I just want to do it all again. And I have to go back. I have to go back and I have to do all the small things better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy it, of course. It was, and when I look back to it now, it's also like, wow, I've actually been there. And that was something I just watched on TV some years ago. And it's pretty cool to like, I have been there, but also it's not enough to just have been there. You want to go
Yeah.
back, you want to do better, and you want to be the best. So
Yeah. Well, I hope you get your chance. I've no doubt that you'll be back. And like I'm excited to see how this season plays out now, because like Berlin is just going to be, it's just gonna be fucking ridiculous because there's just so many good athletes in Europe. It's crazy to think that like there's so few that will get the opportunity to move on. Are you close to, like, is there a natural affinity to other European athletes? Like say when you go to Rogue and or the games, I'm thinking of people like obviously Jacqueline, I guess, from being over in Mallorca, but like say like Emma McQuaid, or people that you might not necessarily know, but they're from Europe. Like, are you kind of drawn to them more so than the American athletes, or does it work like that at all? Do you just have like, oh, I know Jacqueline, I'll go talk to her?
I think it's a bit like if you when you're from Europe and you a bit more friends with them maybe, because of course I like all the athletes from the whole world, but I think we also feel like, okay, Europe is coming and we deserve some more spots, so we are kind of like teaming up. Yeah, but everyone is just nice to know, so yeah.
Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on. Thanks to everyone for watching and commenting as well. It's been great to get to talk to you. Congratulations on all your just all your success over the off season and over the last year. I hope 2023 is as good. Maybe that the off season is a little bit quieter for you in 2023. But congrats, best of luck with everything. Enjoy taking down your parents' decorations there and the rest of your rest. And good luck traveling back to Norway. And yeah, enjoy the season.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been great to get to talk to you.